Hi, and welcome to week 3. Here's another lecture. This lecture is going to cover the concepts that we are going to talk that you're reading about in your embedded sustainability textbook. And the theme of this week is, what would a strategist do? What strategies will companies, businesses employ regarding areas that environmental or social sustainable issues, such as we talked about before, if you're a company that grows crops and the cropland ends up being non-productive, then you have to find a way to, in your strategy, in your short and long-term plan, look at ways that the environment and social aspects of the area in which you're working are going to be ones that you can use for years to come. So, a very good quote by Alfred Chandler defines strategy as the determination of basic long-term goals and objectives of the enterprise and the adoption of the course of action and the allocation of resources necessary to carry out these goals. So a company wants to look at, what is it doing now? What are the goals that it's trying to achieve? And then what course of action should they take so that they can ensure that these goals and the success of the business are carried out in the future? Strategy is where your company is positioned amongst your competitors. If I am making soda bottles and another company is making soda bottles, what is going to, through the strategy and through looking at areas where you can employ recycling, other sustainable issues in your business, where is that going to give you an advantage? So when we look at the second part of strategy, which is, you're going to see externalized or external resources and factors that are going to come along, and they're going to influence or restrict your business over a period of time. So you have a strategy set up to begin with, but it has to be flexible, because if something becomes unavailable, a resource in the future, then you're going to have to find ways to work with that as you move along. This is all about value creation. How do you create value for your business by incorporating sustainable initiatives, social initiatives that are going to take care of the environment as well as the population of people that you're working with? And value creation one, if you take sustainability and you want to put it into your business, it's risk mitigation. So if I am using plastic and I decide to move to something that's less expensive, then it's going to be environmentally responsible, and it is going to help the company to make money, because I'm actually spending less money to make a new product than I would be in creating plastic bottles. The second way that looking at your business plan and looking at your strategy and seeing how you can look at sustainability as a business is, it can reduce mediation costs. If you are creating leather and you have found ways that are less harmful to the environment, if you have seen new processes that you can use, then you're not going to have to pay to clean up a mess later, as you will if you address this at the beginning of the process. The third is, if you are working with the environment around you and with the people around you now, and you're taking that into as a factor into your strategy, you can actually reduce your premiums for environmental exposure to employees, all the insurance that you actually need to carry to protect people. If you address them in the beginning, then those costs are going to go down. The second part of value creation, with looking at how you can embed sustainability in your business, is that it is an efficiency opportunity. You can actually look at points along your chain, and you can see, okay, in the first step of this manufacturing process, we are using this many trees. And what you can look at is, you might find other ways besides using all of those trees than you would have to make the product, or even to use less than to make the product that you are making, causing it to be more efficient. So you're actually saving money in the production phase, in the manufacturing phase, because you're finding ways, different ways, new ways to fulfill the same product that you want, but you're actually cutting costs in the process. The third value creation is uh, called the factor of differentiation. And when we look at companies such as Starbucks, the name recognition doesn't just imply coffee, it implies the fact that the coffee beans have been grown through sustainable practices, the sustainable resourcing, the fact that Starbucks is giving back to the villages where the coffee is being grown by building roads and putting in schools and hospitals. So it's a way to enhance your brand image, and when people think of your brand image positively, then they're more likely to purchase your product, and at times they'll even spend a little bit more for your product than they would, because of those factors that are the intangibles that come along with it as far as your reputation. Another way that value is created is through the ability to influence industry standards. If a company such as Shell decides that it looks at the regulations right now as to how to safely drill a well and how to do it responsibly. If Shell actually chooses to make their standards even higher than what's required by law right now through regulations, as the regulations move towards the benchmark that Shell has already set, other companies are going to have to catch up to the industry standards as those standards are raised. And Shell, being ahead of them, will actually be able to influence legislation, and if the other companies don't keep up, then they're going to be in a position to make more profit. The final value creation step that can come through looking at ways to add social and environmental sustainable initiatives within your business is it's a driver of radical innovation. And in your textbook, it gives an example of a company called Tennant. And it's a small company in Minnesota, and they make the large floor cleaning machines that you push that have the scrubbers on the bottom. Well, while other companies were looking at the chemicals that you put in to mix with the water so that you can clean the floors, they were looking at ways to create less toxic chemicals. What Tennant did was they found a brand new way to make it such that the water that they were using to change the temperature and the other factors within the machine, that it would scrub and sanitize the floor just as well as it would as if you had chemicals. But in doing it in the process, you cut out the chemicals. You don't have to worry about buying, storing, disposing of. And they created their machines. They're using a third of the water they would have used in the original machines with chemicals. They found that they could cut the energy that's used to drive these 80% of what the original electricity was. So they've taken a step where when you're looking at how to create value within your business, sometimes it's to modify something in the initial production stage, or you can come up with an entirely new innovative idea that will be light years ahead of what the other companies in your same field have to offer. So I hope this is good. If you have any questions, just send me an email and I will get back to you. I hope week 3 is great for you. Thanks.